I've got the tools and the lumber to make your woodworking projects a whole lot easier. You know, when I first got into woodworking, I was really dismayed at how hard it was to find the woods that I wanted to work with. Dealing with the big box stores, they just don't have the selection of hardwoods that you're looking for. And with the hardwood dealers, they typically require that you buy hardwoods in pretty large quantities. And if you're just trying to make one small cutting board or other small woodworking projects, you just don't need that much wood. You know, I didn't have a big table saw, I didn't have a joiner, I didn't have a planer, I didn't have any big sanders. So I didn't really have the tools. If I could even get the wood, I didn't have the tools to turn that wood into anything. And I was really frustrated by all these barriers to woodworking. It's a really fun hobby, and I want other people to be able to get into that hobby without these huge barriers of needing to buy lots of wood, needing to buy lots of tools. So that's why I'm here. I take raw boards, the kind that you'll buy at the lumberyard, and I put them through my planer, my sander, my table saw, and I give you these little pieces of wood that are straight, they are flat, they're sanded, and they're perfect for your small woodworking projects, whether it's a cutting board or who knows what else you want to make. They're good and flat, they'll fit right together, you can clamp them and glue them, and you don't need any specialty tools to make your project. If you're careful when you glue these things up, you keep everything nice and lined up. You don't even need any big power sanders to sand down the surface. You can wipe the glue off with a damp cloth and use, you know, a sanding block and some sandpaper just to sand it smooth. So I've got a couple different packages, and I've got a couple different types of woods that I'm offering. There's black walnut, and I've got Brazilian purple heart. Color might not show up real well in the video, but look down below for some better pictures. There's African mahogany. This is called sapele. It's a pretty dense version of mahogany. And I've got rustic hard maple. So there's a lot of caramel color in this maple. And I've got two different lengths. There's 12-inch pieces and there's 18-inch pieces. All of these pieces they're just under an inch wide. They're 13/16 of an inch wide, and they're just under an inch and a half tall. They're 1 3/8 inches tall. So you can take all these pieces and you can glue them up, you know, this way to make a nice thick board, or you can glue them up that way. You'll have a thinner board, but you can make it wider. And so with these kits, these are projects that if your loved ones don't mind you taking over the kitchen table for a night or two, you can do right in your own house. You don't need a big wood shop, you don't need a ton of tools or a bunch of big lumber. You can do this, you know, you can make your first cutting board right in your kitchen, on your kitchen table. So I've got a couple different packages, and they include either the 12-inch pieces or the 18-inch pieces, and they're all going to come with a link to a video, a short instructional video, where I'll cover some of the tips and tricks to make your first project, you know, a little bit easier, less confusing. So thanks for taking the time to check this out. I hope you enjoy this. You know, if you've got a loved one, someone out there you think might be interested in woodworking, this is a great way to help them get into the hobby. And you know, thanks a bunch. Now go get to woodworking.